Tommy, how you doing?
I'm very well, thanks yourself.
Yeah, very well. I mean, we just come from the gym and you just done sparring this morning and to be honest, you were starving hungry, weren't you?
I was hungry, especially when you got to cut weight, you got to take advantage of every little slot of food that you get in the day.
And yeah, I've looked in your fridge. It doesn't look that exciting in there,
No,
does it?
it's not. I think I've got egg whites in there and my meal preps and a bit of milk.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's because we're having this chat earlier. I mean, you know, obviously, once you've done a fight, you might have a couple of beers or whatever. But
yeah.
You're basically you, for 10 weeks or whatever it is, you're sort of living like a monk, eating like a monk.
Yeah, I mean, especially 10 weeks times that by say I fight 3 times. That's 30 weeks. Out the full year. It's quite a long time. So every chance that I get after a fight, I'll indulge in everything. Drink, junk food, whatever it may be. I will be having it because I know the next camp that I go into, if I don't have it, I know I'll be regretting that because I thought I should have had that pizza then, but I didn't have it, and now I'm in a camp eating meal prep. So, got to take advantage.
Well, it's great discipline because you've also got Molly Mae's cupboard, which is over there, which is full of chocolate and treats. You've got beer left over from the last fight, which you're not going to be touching for a few weeks. It's and you're looking at that every day, but yet you've got the discipline to.
That's the motivation. Seeing the Budweiser just taking up the whole bottom shelf, that's the motivation. 3 weeks time, get a good win, get a good knockout, advance on in the career, and also advance on in the drinking. Clear the fridge out, make some more room, but not in the bin, in my throat.
So talk about this fight. I know at the press conference the other day, the guy you're fighting, you're not that over enamoured with him, but you don't think he's that good a fighter. You don't think he's that good a person.
Do you know what it is? He's got a loud mouth on him, and he's going to pay for everything he said. But again, I'm treating him like I'm fighting Muhammad Ali. Like, that is literally how I'm treating him. I'm treating him as if he's the man who holds the world title and I've got a shot at the world title. That's how I've trained this whole camp. I've left no stone unturned. My weight is bang on. I've never been in this shape, this far out from a fight. And everything's been covered this fight. I'm treating this like a world title fight because without this win, all that other stuff, it's up in the air. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, without this win, basically, you don't get the Jake Paul fight, which, as far as I know, that's what the plan is.
Well, you would assume so, yeah. It's a 2-fight deal. This being the first fight and the second fight being whenever. But again, I don't look past anything. The only thing that I look towards is, August 29th and Anthony Taylor. That's the only thing that I'm looking at. So, I've seen an interview that he's been, saying that I don't believe that I'm fighting on the August 29th. I'm overlooking him. Make no mistake, I'm not overlooking anybody. Anthony Taylor's in my sights, and I've got to get him out of there in order to advance on to the next level.
And then, Jake Paul, it's a weird situation where you're on Jake Paul's undercard for this fight. But you both come through this. You'll be fighting each other. I think a lot of people in England are waiting for someone to shut him up.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge fight between me and him. It is a really big fight. Obviously, you've got him and all his USA fans, and me and with all my UK fans. It's USA, UK. It's a big fight, and obviously, you've got my last name, which is a big name in boxing. A lot of viewers will tune in, just for that, because a Fury name is the household name in boxing at the minute, thanks to the big man. So yeah, it's a great fight, but make no mistake, get August 29th out of the way, and then we'll look towards Jake Paul and shutting him up.
So what do you make of like this whole YouTube phenomenon and these fights that like Floyd Mayweather's having? Do you think it's good for the sport or not? I mean,
I don't really think it's looked at, by casual boxing fans. I think it's a completely different audience that's looking at those fights. Obviously, you will get, boxing fans tune in because it's Mayweather or because it's Mike Tyson or whatever, whatever guy it is. But I think mostly it's targeted towards the younger generation because a lot of the older public won't buy into that sort of stuff. They think, oh, it's rubbish, it's no good, they're all past the best, it's just a money-making thing, which it is. But at the end of the day, these guys, I'm talking about Mike Tyson's and the Mayweathers, they're icons of our sport. So if they want to come back, to make a bit more money or, to lace up the gloves once again, then they're more than entitled to.
And it's like you say, it's bringing an audience to boxing that might not have been there before. And similar to your fights, I'm guessing most people watch you because they're fight fans, because they know the Fury name, like you just said. But you have got a percentage of people who are tuning in because they've seen you on Love Island.
Definitely, yeah. I've got the best of both worlds, to be fair, because obviously I've got the hardcore boxing fans that'll tune into my fights because of the last name, because I was boxing before I went on the show. They'll be tuning in. And I've also got the young kids, the younger generation that support me, tuning in from Love Island. So it's both sides just coming together as one, watching that fight. So, I can't complain.
Yeah, and Jake Paul, we would, after your dad interviewed you and Daniel, I mean, that must have been a bit weird, first of all, having your dad doing the interview for us.
It was funny. It was funny. It really was hilarious. But my dad, as you all know, my dad can talk and talk well. So I think he should take up a job in interviewing.
Well, I think, to be honest, I think we've got more plans for him. I think that might not be the last of him in his interviewing career.
Well, I hope not, because he likes it. So keep him at it.
Yeah, exactly. But we were lining him up to speak to Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Ask Jake Paul's people about it, and they weren't having any of it. I think they might be a little bit scared of him.
Yeah, I won't blame him as well, because he's not the only one who's scared of Big John. No, at the end of the day, my dad's a good man. He's good at what he does, but you can see why they didn't want to take that interview. You can see what that would have been. Yeah,
I can imagine. Yeah, John would have a few words to say if he was like speaking face to face with Jake.
Just a little bit, because I think how Jake Paul goes about his business, I think how my dad goes about his business is a bit different.
He's an old-fashioned boxing man, and he doesn't like all this sort of insults. I know you always say you have to try to sell a fight, but personal insults like about Molly May and and all the stuff, all the chants and that. How does that affect you? All that?
It doesn't affect me because names and little passing comments that people say, it doesn't affect me. It never has done. I've just not been that guy. Even since coming out of Love Island and seeing all these articles written about me and all these messages daily that I get, I hate you, you're rubbish at boxing, you're this, you're that. If I let those comments get to me, I go insane. So you just turn it off, No comment on this planet can get to me. It just shows the immaturity levels from those who are saying it. I will never bring a man's missus into it. I'll never disrespect a man's family like that. But that's the type of class that you're dealing with. But I'm a true professional. I'm a professional fighting man. And it's not a joke to me. This is my sport. This is my living. So I'm not gonna be a bad representation of it.
And what about Molly May? Did that get to her? Did she mention it at all? Or?
No, because the life that we're in, on a daily occurrence, on an hourly occurrence, I can refresh my message requests and it will always load with new messages saying, vulgar abuse, the worst sort of abuse that you could imagine. So we're seeing that on a regular. So we've just learned to switch off. So whether somebody says that in the street or somebody says that in a message, it doesn't apply to us because that isn't going to change our life. We're happy in our life, we're happy together, and we're not interested in what anybody else has got to think about us.
And what about, because I was watching you box like last time out, and she was looking through her fingers a few times.
Yeah. No, it's good for her to be there. I enjoy her being there. Obviously, it gets a little bit scary for that type of event where it's very hostile like it was the last time. I don't really like her being involved in that, but general boxing matches where you've got a respectable crowd there, it's nice. It's nice for her to be there. And also it's nice because she can experience my job on what I do for a living, and get the feel of it, because that's the only way she's going to get, adapted to it, by seeing me box every time.
Yeah, because I could, just a couple of times you could see her wincing, because to be fair, with that fight, it was like, he's a game lad and he's going to be coming down to do a bit of sparring with you.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the Tommy Fury I'd seen maybe a couple of times before. Is that a fair thing to say?
Fair comment, yeah, fair comment. This boxing game's about trial and error, and I did some things in the build-up to that fight that I shouldn't have done, that I won't be doing, for any other fights. I ate a little bit more food than I should. Stayed up a little bit, a few more hours than I should have, but it's all learning for me. And, none of that has been taken into this camp. I've been going to bed early, on time, every single night. My food's been right. Everything about this camp has been right. But again, I would have only known that through trial and error. Now I've done it, I've experienced it, I know not to do it again. So, I've learned from my mistakes.
And now you can just see, look at it. I mean, you're 3 weeks out from the fight. You look, you almost look at fighting weight, already.
Yeah, I'm only a few pounds over the fight weight. I'm banging hard. I'm feeling good. Like, I'm feeling very, very good. I feel well in myself. Look at my face. I'm not drained and like a skeleton. I feel really good and I look very good as well. So it's all about getting the fine balance. We're not peaking too early. We're going to peak on the night, which is good. I've got the perfect team around me to make sure every single aspect is covered. So I don't worry about anything. All I've got to do is eat right, sleep right, and turn up to training and put 110% in, which I do every single time.
And you got Big John keeping his beady eye on you. I know he said last time when you're in America, he likes you guys to be where he can see him.
He does, yeah, 100%. But he's got no worries this time because we're going over to America to fight, to bring back the win and carry out a game plan. Whereas last time I was going out to America to do a little bit of training, a little bit of jumping off some boats and whatnot. That isn't the case this time. So he's got no worries here. I'm going over there to do a job. And literally when we land in America, it's going to be eat, sleep, rest and repeat. That's all we're going over there for, because by the time I go over there, all the training's done. You can't get any fitter in 10 days. I'm going over there to rest, recharge my batteries and go out there on the night and perform.
Everything works out as it should do. In a couple of months' time, Tyson will have beaten Deontay Wilder for the 3rd time. You'll be looking forward to your next fight, having demolished your opponent in August, and you'll be able to finally tuck into them beers.
Well, like I say, God willing, we get the win on August 29th. You know, I've trained, I've done everything right, and I'm looking to put on a spectacular performance, might I say that. And then, you know, Tyson beats Wilder. It's all going very well. And yeah, you know, on to the future. We can, I can dig into my few beers, whatever else, and then get back into training camp. You know, life as a boxer is very the same. I know what's going to come throughout the year. I'm going to be in training camp. I'm going to be off training, drinking, eating, putting on weight, getting back in the gym, getting off. It's kind of the same thing for years on end. However long your boxing career is, you know exactly what's going to happen through it. There's a time where you're going to be in camp, and there's going to be a time where you're not in camp and you're enjoying yourself. But other than that, you know, it's all pretty routine. You know what's coming. So I don't know. Boxing's a funny old game, isn't it?